This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the best all-in-one platform for all of your website building needs. Hey guys, it's Celestia, and welcome back to another episode of Art Trope Top 10s, a series where I roast the art tropes I hate the most and ramble about my favorites while poorly drawing myself as all of them. So far, we've done the best and worst anime art tropes, Western animation art tropes, character design tropes, Mary Sue art tropes, and, most recently, the worst hero and villain art tropes. Today, we're back to finish off this round of them with the best hero and villain art tropes, because nothing cheers me up more than getting to draw Elon Musk supervillain Celestia during these trying times. But real quick, before that timeless illustration scars you for life and becomes a permanent new fixture of your nightmares, let me take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. Squarespace has been supporting the channel, and I've been passionately recommending them for so long now that this is basically us, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because I sincerely believe that they're the best website building and hosting platform out there. I formed that opinion firsthand long before we started working together when I built my first Duchess Celestia portfolio site there, a process that was so streamlined and easy that they're always my first recommendation for any artist looking to build their own. I've been working on building a new one recently too, an experience that's shown me that it's somehow gotten even better since then. But portfolios are only one of many types of sites that Squarespace can help you build. They have an incredibly wide, versatile library of templates that are perfect for anything you could possibly need to create. And what's more, regardless of what type of site that is, it's just as easy to turn it into an online store as it is to build it, because they offer all of the tools you need to do so. The ability to manage payments and inventory, handle shipping and fulfillment, and even boost your SEO to get more eyes on your site and maximize the number of customers that shop there. This is perfect for selling merch and physical goods, but it's just as easy to sell services too. Consultations, event management, editing, even art commissions. Their tools make selling anything easy, with a streamlined workflow, built-in appointment scheduling, email marketing tools, and so much more. And your customers have just as many options as you do too. They offer all of the most popular payment methods like Klarna, ACH Direct Debit, Apple Pay, Afterpay, and ClearPay, and even allow you the option to send individualized branded invoices to specific clients, so you can start accepting orders from all around the world with just a few clicks. Whether you're an artist in need of a portfolio, an entrepreneur building an online store, a creator setting up an interactive blog, or a small business owner making a landing page, Squarespace is the place to do it. And you can find out yourself by going to squarespace.com to get your own free trial today. And once you've built the perfect site that you're ready to launch, you can get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain by going to squarespace.com/DuchessCelestia, linked in the description. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video, and please go check them out. Alright, now let's get into the tropes. Like I said last time, while I may be an unashamed and documented villain simp, I will try to keep this balanced. So there's gonna be 5 best hero tropes and 5 best villain tropes. And you know what? Out of the pure generosity of my heart, I'll even let heroes go first. So top favorite trope number 1, when heroes are designed to have absolutely horrifying or at least overwhelmingly intimidating appearances, but are the sweetest, most wholesome little guys you could possibly imagine. Like Sasayama from Kurosagi Corp's Delivery Service looks like a stereotypical thug, to the point that everyone who sees him almost immediately assumes he's with the Yakuza. And visually speaking, he looks intimidating as hell, but he's actually a completely unserious goofball ex-cop who works in social services now and tries to pawn 90% of his work off on a group of college student protagonists. And then we have Alphonse Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist, a horrifyingly gigantic, towering walking suit of armor that would reasonably scare the living shit out of anyone who came within 5 feet of him, because he looks like he could crush the Black Knight from Dark Souls with his pinky finger. But he's actually a 14-year-old kid who would have a moral crisis over even considering hurting a fly, whose armor is actually just full of cats that he would die for without hesitation. Not only is it a ridiculously endearing trope when the rest of the characters realize that their appearance is pretty much the exact opposite of a reflection of who they are, and they completely misjudge them, but it's really, really funny, which I value significantly more. The idea of being cornered in a dark alley by a massive dude who looks like he leads 5 biker gangs with the assumption that you're almost definitely about to be mugged, only to find out that he's like a volunteer firefighter in the Peace Corps who just got back from donating 3 kidneys and just wanted to give you back the keys you dropped a couple blocks back? Gold. Eldritch abomination reaching out to you with tendrils of darkness that you assume are trying to pull you kicking and screaming into the abyss, but actually just wants to like pat your head and maybe give you a hug. I love it. Anyway, the best trope number 2 for villains is pretty much the exact opposite. Overwhelming cuteness. Whether they act adorable or just look adorable, or even better, both, there is nothing I love more than a villain that can commit atrocities while still looking or acting so cute that they put even the tiniest, fluffiest puppies and kittens to shame. Q from Bungo Stray Dogs looks like the world's most precious little guy that you can't possibly not want to just bundle in blankets and give a hot chocolate to. And they act like it too, right up until the point that they're using their ability to inflict widespread hallucinations and giggling the world's cutest little giggle while they watch their victims try to unalive everyone around them in a state of unstoppable psychosis. They look like the most harmless harmless little kid that probably just wants to stop at the store for some new clothes for their doll, while actually being quote-unquote too demented for even the mafia's standards. The mafia that they work for, when they're not being imprisoned by them because they're too dangerous to go free. The dichotomy of that will never not be hilarious to me, and even if the trope is overdone at this point and people are sick of the whole cute but insane vibe, I'm not, and I never will be. And I refuse to be shamed for supporting Rena Ryugu fawning over the latest cute thing that she desperately wants to take home while still holding the bloody cleaver she just used to commit several murders in the hand that she's not using to make grabby hands at it. Moving on, best trope number 3 takes us back to heroes, and it's when a hero is buff as hell and immediately assumed to be the tough guy badass, only to reveal that they're also a goddamn genius. Maybe it's just because I've always found the stereotype of the dumb jock / lanky nerd contrast to be ridiculously dumb, but there's something overwhelmingly satisfying to me about seeing a bunch of characters that wrote a hero off as a muscle-bound dumbass stop functioning for a full minute because that hero just offhandedly explained quantum entanglement, eternal recurrence, and gave a thorough summary of Immanuel Kant's Critique of Pure Reason without so much as looking up from their phone. Stuff can be two things. You can be buff and smart, and heroes who absolutely demolish the idea that you can't by having big muscles and big brains are my absolute favorite. The number 4 best trope is for villains though, and it's a lot less I love the social commentary, and a lot more it's funny, and that's enough for me. The impossibly exaggerated upturned eyebrows. Bonus points if the eyebrows are actually so evil that they extend over the villain's face, and exist in some pocket universe of their own, unbound by our understanding of physical possibility. I can't even say that this is a good trope. I'll be the first to acknowledge that it's cheesy as hell, and I should dislike it by way of it being too overdone alone. But I can't do it. I love the evil villain eyebrows. I love them. First of all, eyebrows actually are an incredibly important feature for expressing a character's tone and general vibe, especially in more simplistic styles where subtler aspects of their expressions that would otherwise communicate their malice aren't really even present. Like, even when it's not Jafar or Black Hat levels of exaggerated, I mean, look at Light and Isaiah, and now look at them with normal eyebrows. I expect these two to go on a 15-minute villain monologue about how they're not saying they're God, but they're also not saying that. These two, the most insidious thing I can see them monologuing about is how the weather forecast said it was gonna rain today and it didn't. Eyebrows are important. Evil eyebrows are even more important, to the point that their presence can make even the most innocuous sentence sound nefarious. I could say, I feel like tacos for dinner tonight, and if my eyebrows were in the evil V formation, you'd probably think they were tacos made of people. Anyway, moving on to the number 5 best trope, we're back to heroes, and it's what TV Tropes calls the fedora of ass-kicking, which gives us the immediate impression that by way of the character's hat alone, they're at least 10 times more badass and not to be fucked with than anyone in their vicinity. Technically, this isn't limited to heroes. I mean, yes, the first example I thought of was Indiana Jones, who is objectively a protagonist, but the second one that immediately followed was Chuya from Bungo Stray Dogs, and he is not. I mean, I love him, and I do think that in many ways he has the moral compass of a protagonist, but he's still a ruthless criminal in a high-ranking position in the mafia, capable of extraordinary violence that he often enacts. Still, more often than not, the fedora of ass-kicking is a hero trope, even if there are some very notable exceptions, at least in the media I've consumed, and I love it. Obviously, the comedic value is my first priority, and I have no shortage of appreciation for the fact that the badass fedora is basically a character design version of a sign stuck to the character's head saying, I can and will destroy you in combat without even needing to take this off. But it's also just really visually effective at giving them a memorable and imposing silhouette that does legitimately make them look intimidating when done right, and I genuinely love that. Alright, the 6th best trope is for villains, and it's quite possibly my favorite one of the video, to the point that I couldn't even finish the intro before mentioning it. The businessman. That's it. The villains that are designed to be coded and understood as villains solely by way of making them look like a stereotypical rich guy CEO, because that's enough. Looking like you're in Jeff Bezos's tax bracket and say things like synergy and circle back and play golf at your exclusive country club while screwing over the poor and disenfranchised for a 0.1% tax break is enough to make a character visually villain-coded. And there's absolutely nothing funnier to me than that, because yeah, fair. I can't use Elon Musk as an example like I did in the intro as much as I'd like to, because number 1, he's unfortunately not a fictional character, and 2, he doesn't really dress like a businessman so much as he dresses like a really bad imitation of that smart casual Lemmy Show skit.
Smell casual. Smell casual. Smelled casual.
But I can point you towards Fitzgerald from Bungo Stray Dogs instead. There's nothing stereotypically villainous about his appearance. He wears a lot of pastels, and the only recognizably villain-coded thing about him is his upturned collar, and shout out to the top 10 worst character design tropes video where you can hear me ramble all about that. The most villainous thing about our boy Francis's appearance is that he looks like a stereotypical rich guy businessman. The most nefarious part of his outfit isn't a black cloak or a trench coat or an imposing weapon, it's his pink diamond-studded Rolex, because anyone who has a watch that costs more than I make in a year has a borderline immoral amount of cash. The corporate businessman villain trope is easily, hands down, the best one because it's real. It exists. And it exists almost exactly how it does in fiction. Moving on from what will quickly turn into a rant about wealth hoarding and the disappearing middle class if I don't stop myself, let's look at the next two, the 7th and 8th best hero tropes that I'm putting together because they're really just two sides of the same coin. The incredibly important and powerful hero that literally just looks and acts like a normal guy in every way, and the hero with absolutely no superpowers at all whatsoever but acts and dresses like they're Superman. I love when a hero with the power to level a city at will dresses in like a Red Hot Chili Peppers t-shirt from 10 years ago and worn out torn jeans and is completely and utterly nondescript, and lives life about as excitingly and chaotically as a middle-aged office worker who starts saying it's been a long week down to his half-empty coffee cup at 2 p.m. on a Monday. I love just as much when a hero is about as powerful as that normal dude looks and capable of absolutely nothing more than anyone else you see on the street, but has the confidence of someone capable of leveling a city at will and the determination to try anyway, especially if they end up failing to a near pathological extent. Bonus points if they dress in the most ostentatious, dramatic, intricately de superhero costume known to man and refuse to be seen in anything else while living the life of crime stopping that they are tragically unqualified for. Extremes at both ends of this hero spectrum are equally hilarious to me, and both have a special treasured place in my heart. All I want, really, is a piece of media where the everyman normie with incomparably extraordinary powers teams up with the dramatic show-off superhero wannabe with no powers at all. Actually, if that piece of media exists and you know of it, please leave it in the comments because I really do need it in my life. Anyway, next up is the number 9 best villain trope, and it's what TV Tropes calls light is not good. Immediately I thought of Light from Death Note and I was just like, yeah, I think we got that. But it actually refers to villains who have the normally very hero or even wholly coded color scheme of white or gold, or to a lesser degree, just very benign, friendly-looking pastels. Fitzgerald from Bungo Stray Dogs could be an example of this one too, at least with the pastel outfit that he wore before his downfall and pursuing redemption arc makeover. But I especially mean characters like Ash from Black Butler and Father from Fullmetal Alchemist, who are so visually hero-coded through the innocence and holiness associated with their white and gold and overall elegant color palettes, that it's almost deceptive given how far from the truth that actually is. For once, this isn't a trope I like based on any kind of comedic value, but because I legitimately just really enjoy it. I love any trope that's basically a flipped version of a more common trope that throws normal character design stereotypes out the door. And I especially love it with this one because it's just so manipulative. It's not just something funny and relatively insignificant like the first one on the list, a character who looks intimidating but isn't. It's taking a color scheme that has been viewed by so many cultures as indicative of purity and innocence, and completely corrupting it by associating it with a character who possesses no semblance of either. It's just so effective to me when done well, and I love it enough that I included it on this list even knowing that I had neither the ability nor the intention to make a joke out of it. And that's a big deal to me. It's not a sacrifice I make easily. But I am balancing it out with the 10th and final best villain trope, which is on here solely for comedic purposes so that I don't just die, or whatever it is that happens to clowns forced to be serious. The gold tooth that actually makes it clearer that a character is a villain the moment they open their mouth than if they outright yelled, "I commit crime." I cannot think of a single character that has a gold tooth and isn't a villain. It's like the dentist they all go to has a screening procedure to confirm that all of their patients kick puppies for fun before allowing them to get dental implants. I have no excuse for including this here. Absolutely none. I roast so many tropes on the basis of being overdone and cheesy, and this trope is potentially the most overdone and cheesy one out of any of the tropes I've included in any video. But I grew up watching Home Alone, and it's like that movie grandfathered me into loving it, because it wasn't cheesy yet when I saw it, at least not to me. As far as young Celestia was concerned, it was teaching me a legitimate life lesson that gold tooth havers can't be trusted not to rob children, even if those children do happen to be shockingly proficient at creative violence and kind of better at crime than they are. And the fact that every character with gold teeth in every piece of media I've seen since then was a villain told me that it was a pretty accurate lesson. In fairness, I've never met anyone in real life with a gold tooth at all, so I have yet to assess whether this holds true in reality, but I won't say I wouldn't be at least a little bit suspicious of them if I did. But there we have it. That's the end. Those are my top 10 best all-time favorite hero and villain design tropes. As always, please feel free to argue about whether or not you agree with them in the comments, so long as you demonstrate the common sense necessary to understand that these are jokes and should be taken as such. If you liked the video, consider checking out the rest of the series by clicking on the playlist linked in the iCard above. And don't worry, Art Trope Top 10s will be back very soon. Likely with the best and worst manga art tropes, the best and worst artist character tropes, and the best and worst corporate art tropes. And you're more than welcome to suggest categories of your own in the comments if you have other requests or ideas. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Special thank you as always to channel members Joseph Solomon, TC Pratt, Haruki Saluzzo, Peachy, King Good James, Art of Amethyst Fable, Extinction Animation, Indy the Hedgehog, Kai the Memer, Jazz, Abyss Reborn, Just Sayori, Stardust, and Angry Shroomish, as well as patrons Batman, Kyle Lowe, Blue Swanson, Jamisha Walker, Alangshi, Kim Yin, Crazy Asar, Gintong, Graysoning Xavier, Blah Mage, TC Pratt, Finn, Celine Merriman, Eldritchia, The Stray Dog, Ulura, Greg Noble, Decagon, Jenny Chan, Catbus, Mac, Lucy Yamajiki, Selena Bibi, Pryday, Totally Shogun, Insomniac Sleep Schedule, Ling Tang Wang, Marie Greer, Potato, Jazz, Voidwalker, Latte Tabby, Christian Cook, Adam Sorovietz, Doriaki, Arias, and Hailstorm, and I'll see you in the next one.